It's time for another coffee talk with John. It is a brisk morning this morning here in Ohio. I'm wearing my overcoat because it's the warmest thing I had, and I was chilly when I woke up. Of course, I put on my hat to keep my bald head warm, my artificial hair, as it were. And I wanted to talk this morning about being grateful for people who challenge your beliefs, about people who come to you with a different belief, and they challenge you on yours. Many people will immediately get defensive and want to argue their truth to be right. I tend to listen, and rather than arguing my truth to be right, I tend to say, what do I believe about this? And I take it as an opportunity to explore my own personal beliefs. When I'm exploring my personal beliefs, I find that I tend to become more sure of what I believe. But I think it's for each one of us to come to our own truth, right? So when I hear someone challenge my belief, I go, that's an interesting thing. I haven't thought of that. And then I really think it through. I'm like, well, do I believe that? Do I not believe that? And when I find something that I really feel is true to me, I go, that's interesting. The one thing about spiritual truths especially is people tend to get zealous about them. They become zealots about their beliefs rather than allowing themselves to be open-minded to the potential that maybe their belief could be, slightly skewed or a little off, or could be enhanced by an addition of another belief. But when we get so rigid about our beliefs, we tend to lose the opportunity to understand God more. Because in the Bible it says, in my Father's house there are many mansions. I believe there's many ways to the source, because the source is love, and you can find love in Christianity, you can find love in Islam, you can find love in Buddhism and Hinduism and all the rest, as they said on Gilligan's Island. But if you're not open to seeing and hearing other people's points of view, then you're not open to God. Because no one religion can encompass all of God. Because God is everything. God is Islam. God is Christianity. God is Buddhism and Hinduism and Baha'i and Wicca and all the New Age stuff as well. God's in there. But it's the thinking mind that wraps around the truth of love and starts creating rules and experiences around that truth that hinders. And sometimes you need to say, okay, is this what I truly believe? Is what they're saying making more sense to me? Does what they say feel more correct to me? And if it does, then I would incorporate it into my truth, right? But if you're not open to even hearing a contradictory statement or something that's antithetical to your truth, then you're not open to experiencing the full enormity of God. Because I have had beautiful experiences with people of all faiths, and that beautiful experience was the God part. What they believed about it was not the God part. It was the experience. It was the loving intention. It was the loving expression. It was the moment of being joyfully accepting each other that is the God part of it all. And when we shut down somebody else's beliefs wholeheartedly, then what happens is we miss the opportunity. That's why if you ever read the comments, I am always telling people that I respect their beliefs, because I do. I completely respect their beliefs. Their experience is their experience. And for me, sometimes they'll say a belief, and I'll throw a question back at them. And the reason I throw a question back at them is because I want them to just question it. I don't want them to, in any way, shape, or form, change their belief. I just want them to see a different perspective through a question. Because, people learn more when they ask than when they're told. If they're asking a question, that means their mind is open to a question. And if they're being told that this is what they're supposed to believe, it automatically creates a defense mechanism, which means I have to shut off whatever this person is saying because it doesn't match my beliefs. So rather than tell them what they're supposed to believe, just ask them questions about their beliefs. Learn more about their beliefs. Learn more about your beliefs by asking questions about their belief. Because what happens for me, when I ask questions about their belief, and I ask questions about what they're thinking, I am experiencing a validation of my beliefs. Because when I hear their answers, I can find my truth in there. I can find my truth in almost every answer I get. In the modern world, there's all these New Age dogmas that I've talked about, and people, when I say this first gets into writing in the 1980s, New Age dogma can be from the 1880s, from the 1780s, right? There's beliefs that are happening all the time, and you can find truth in all of it. You can find some truth in all of it. Some of it more so than others, in my opinion, but as long as you're finding love and a pathway to love itself, then you're finding God. If you're finding a pathway to fear and anxiety and stress, that's the separation from God, in my opinion. And that separation from God is also part of the belief, part of my belief. We're here to experience the separation from God. So when someone is really deep into that fear-based religious dogma, they're experiencing God by experiencing the lack thereof. And it's not wrong. It's not right for me. It's not right for me to say that's wrong. It's not right for me to say that what they're doing is wrong, because it's their world, it's their belief, it's their structure. They're allowed to believe whatever they want. But when you close your mind to what they're saying, you're not hearing the nuances of love and fear of God and the illusion of the lack of God. And that really comes down to, for me, every time someone throws a challenging statement at me, I love them. I love them for it. And there are often times that I'll throw a question to someone and they'll instantly unsubscribe from the channel, and I'm okay with that, because that was just their response to a question. They're afraid to question. They're afraid of questions. They're afraid of my beliefs, and a lot of times they'll hear my beliefs and they'll get offended by my beliefs. Well, why would they be offended? Well, they're offended by my beliefs because it challenges theirs, and they don't want their beliefs challenged. But I love all the challenges. I love all the questions. I beg you guys for questions all the time. Speaking of which, I need questions. But I beg you guys for questions all the time. Because I like when you bring me something that I haven't thought of. And I go, I haven't really talked about that topic. And what do I think about that? And I get to go from my belief and say, what do I believe about that situation? And then I can make a video about it. And to me, it has been a beautiful exploration and validation of what I believe. And it's been a beautiful validation of what Jeshua taught. It's been a beautiful validation hearing people come at me with these nuanced questions, and seeing how that religion talks about Jeshua as somebody greater than and higher than and mightier than and external from them, and it doesn't match what my belief is, but I can see how that they believe that, right? And I can respect that that's their belief, because that is their belief. As Mom said, spirituality is a personal journey, and we each must choose our own journey. We each must live our own journey, live our own experiences, and it's not for anyone, you or me, to judge anyone. judgment will come, and they'll experience. If someone's doing something wrong in the world, like dangerous or hurtful or harmful, they should be stopped, right? But if they're just believing something and not harming anybody, except themselves sometimes, it's not for you to change them. It's for you to shine so bright that they see another example. And sometimes asking a question. And sometimes just a simple question can make them get questions themselves. And when they ask a question, they learn faster, rather than being told what to believe. That's my thought on this today. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.